Hey guys, this is Miles from Swiss Crypto Podcast, and in this video I'm gonna talk about regulations. To be specific, about the crypto regulations that the European Union just imposed. So stay tuned and let's get into it. So this podcast will be very interesting for everyone that wants to have a look at how the European Union handles cryptocurrency and how they do the laws for cryptocurrency in comparison to the US, and also for everyone that just wondered what there needs to be done to prevent criminals from doing fishy things with cryptocurrency. To start things off, for all of you that don't know, the European Union consists of 28 countries in total. So that's quite a lot of countries, and they do laws for all the 28 countries that they have to follow. And in 2018, they conducted a 108-page study on cryptocurrencies and blockchain. And guess what? Yes, I read the whole thing, not every page, but a lot of it. And it was quite interesting. If you are interested in reading up on it, I've linked it down below in the description. It's really a good study for everyone that also wants to know what blockchain really is and how it is used, etc. So the authors of the study also wrote about blockchain and the technology in general and how it works. And the main target of this study was to evaluate how they can prevent money laundering, terrorist financing, and tax evasion by cryptocurrency. Because back then, when Bitcoin went through the roof the first and the second time, all they heard and all normal people heard that weren't into cryptocurrency was that it is mainly for criminals. So the first thing that the parliament has to do is, of course, prevent criminals from doing anything that isn't right with cryptocurrencies. What I found important in the study itself, they also noted that it is important to not kill the technology at birth with all these laws against criminals. And that I find very, very important, because blockchain is not only cryptocurrency, but a lot of technology, and it has a huge potential for the economy and for science. So let's have a look at what the European Parliament really wants to do against money laundering and the other criminal activities that I just named above. For the money laundering part, the European Union has made a law that is called the Anti-Money Laundering Directive, or short AMLD number 4, that prohibits money laundering and terrorist financing. And you realize this is all just paperwork, and it says on paper that it is forbidden to do money laundering and it is forbidden to finance any terrorist activity, and that's the most important thing for that parliament. And the current problem is that cryptocurrencies currently don't fit into the list of obliged entities that have to comply with that AMLD5. So the AMLD5 framework can't be attached or used to the crypto scheme. So that's why the European Parliament wanted to do a new directive called AMLD5. What else did you expect? And there are 3 different ways to tackle that money laundering and the terrorist financing that they name in the report. The first one is to target cryptocurrency users. So that would mean that users of cryptocurrencies would have to register themselves if they are resident of those 28 European Union countries. That would mean if you want to use cryptocurrency, you have to fill out a form where you put your name, your address, and so on, so that the state or the European Union knows exactly where you are, what you do, and what you use your money for. The second way to tackle money laundering would be to target crypto exchanges. And in their study, they propose that they make exchanges obliged entities so that they fall under AMLD4. That would mean that all the cryptocurrency exchanges had to comply with the anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing laws, which would make sense in my opinion. The third one is to target custodian wallet providers. So every company that provides a custodian wallet would have to comply with the AMLD4. And for the new AMLD5 proposal, so the fifth anti-money laundering directive, they chose two of those three. And those two are to target the exchanges and to target the custodian wallet providers. In my opinion, the two easiest one, because it's just not possible to register every cryptocurrency user in those 28 countries. So with AMLD5, it means that if customers want to cash out from an anonymous currency like Monero, they will lose their anonymity because the exchange has to comply with the AMLD5 and they have to register the name of the cryptocurrency exchange user. So you will be anonymous as long as you use the cryptocurrency, the private cryptocurrency like Monero itself, but as soon as you cash out, you will have to comply with the AMLD5, and the state or the European Union would know about your existence, would know about the money that you had in Monero. And some of you are now probably asking the question, what about the miners? Because in the end, the miners are the ones that get the mining reward, right? And for now, the study says that miners are not yet considered as obliged entities. And this is mainly, they note, this is mainly because miners are mostly located in China, which would make any initiative largely impossible to enforce. So you'll see the point there. There's just no way that the European Union gets every Chinese mining company to register their miners. Another important part of the cryptocurrency or blockchain scene is the atomic swap. And they also talk about atomic swaps and how they should be handled in the future. And in the study, they note that atomic swaps don't fall under the AMLD5 and can barely be supervised, and that they don't know yet how they should handle that in the future. So there's still work to be done. There's still work to be done in the near future, in the next few years, because I believe that atomic swaps will become a bigger thing in the next years, so that users of cryptocurrencies don't have to use exchanges anymore. So until now, I found this report quite interesting. There was about 80 pages into it, and then they note something quite interesting. They say, all in all, the approach taken is therefore not very convincing if the legislator is truly serious about unveiling anonymity of cryptocurrency users to make the combat against money laundering, terrorist financing, and tax evasion more effective. So they propose those three different ways to tackle money laundering and terrorist financing that I showed you. They chose two of them for the new anti-money laundering directive, the AMLD5. And at the end of the study, they note, yeah, if the legislator really is serious about anti-money laundering laws, this really isn't the best way to do it, but let's try it like this. And yeah, in my opinion, they just destroy the whole report in that sentence. At the very end of the report, in the last paragraph, however, they note something very important that I want to read to you and that I want to end this podcast with. In the end, they say, therefore, it would be too blunt to associate blockchain with money laundering, terrorist financing, or tax evasion. It is just technology which is not designed to launder money, facilitate terrorist financing, or evade taxes, and has numerous applications throughout the whole lawful economy. It would not be wise to discourage future innovations in this respect by submitting blockchain and fintechs exploring its use cases to burdensome requirements simply because of one of the applications using blockchain technology which is cryptocurrencies, is used illicitly by some. Admittedly, cryptocurrencies are the first well-known application putting blockchain technology into the spotlight, but nowadays blockchain has clearly outgrown the context of cryptocurrencies. Therefore, we suggest to leave blockchain be from a money laundering, terrorist financing and tax evasion perspective and focus on the illicit use case of cryptocurrencies. Thanks a lot to the authors of this paragraph. This is just the most important thing for me, that the authorities see the possibility that blockchain holds, the possibility for the economy and science in the future, how it can facilitate processes in different industries, and that they hopefully not kill the technology by issuing different laws that aim for money laundering, but in the end make it impossible to use the technology itself. So that's been it for this podcast. I hope you found it interesting, even though it was about laws and regulations. I had a lot of fun reading that article. If you're interested in it, as I said, read it down below in the description box. If you liked the content I provided, please subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot to me. And I'll see you in the next podcast.